Breaking news as a source has exposed that Jason Momoa was afraid of the Amber Heard situation, and he knew that Aquaman was going to tank. And when you consider the fact that she did try to cancel Jason Momoa and she did try to cancel James Wan, these words, they get spicy from a fellow actor, and you and I, we're gonna cook this stuff up today too. I mean, Jason Momoa afraid of Amber Heard, needs to get off the show. Yeah, you knew there was a problem. This is pointing it out. Fun times, huh? Fun times indeed. All right, so hey there to all you fine folks on this fine day. By the way, I hope you are doing excellently. So Dolph Lundgren has decided, hey, I'm going to drop yet another bombshell, and this one, it is spicy. See, the actor that plays Mira's father first dropped the bombshell that Warner Brothers did indeed lie. They had done reshoots, they cut down Amber Heard's role dramatically, and when they did that, they cut his role down as well. Well, he decides, hey, I'm going to follow that bombshell up with something even bigger. And this, so it does take the prize. Why? Because he decides he's going to talk to MovieWeb.com. He's going to tell them about specific people and the franchise itself. And he says, quote, Jason Momoa, he was spooked by the Amber Heard situation here, and that the franchise, Aquaman, it is indeed dead. So, all of that talk, all of that nonsense about, hey, maybe it'll come back, yeah, it's not. We all knew it. But here you have somebody connected to the movie saying, yeah, that thing is indeed done. Now, the Aquaman star actually says quite a bit of spicy material in this interview. I was kind of surprised by it. I wonder if he's saying basically, yeah, no more Aquaman. Really, why should I care about saying things? I want to read this to you. It's essentially 3 screenshots, and it is definitely worth it. Listen to this. Quote, action movie icon and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom star has revealed that Jason Momoa got spooked with the Amber Heard situation and believes that the Aquaman franchise is over. In an exclusive interview with MovieWeb, he addressed the future of the Aquaman franchise and says that he heard through someone else that Momoa wants to move on to other things. Isn't it fascinating, by the way? Momoa, he wants to move on. You have James Wan, he wants to move on. He's going back to horror. Essentially, Amber Heard burned this franchise down. And this is pretty much telling you point blank why this is. So check this part of the quote out, and there is more that's coming, by the way. Quote, I don't know what's going to happen with Aquaman. I've heard that Jason Momoa thinks it's just his last one, and he wants to do something else. Now, can you imagine that, by the way? Jason Momoa, he gets a multi-billion-dollar franchise. He gets into everyone's living room. Basically, he makes Aquaman work. Now he wants to move on. Why would that be? Yeah, I wonder indeed. Continuing, I just heard it through somebody else, but it's hard to know what's going to happen in the future, except I just thought they had a great script, they had a great director, and they had a great cast for the second film. Now, after praising the script, director, and cast of the sequel, Lundgren reasoned that Momoa grew concerned about the involvement of Amber Heard, the bad press the actress was getting at the time, and how this would affect the box office and the audience response. Now check out this next part, because I think that this is really telling about how Jason Momoa is looking at this situation, along with Warner Brothers, by the way. Quote, and I guess he got spooked with the Amber Heard situation and the fact that people weren't going to see the movie because she's in it. Now, he's telling you right there, Jason Momoa, he very well knew what was going on. He very well knew how audiences were responding. They didn't want to see this movie there when she was in it. And I think it's more, which we'll talk about in just a moment. Continuing, I always thought that was overrated. That's what this actor says. Yeah, 5 million people? I mean, hey, what do they know, right? I mean, I think when you make a movie, you've got to stick to your guns a little. Can you imagine saying that, by the way? Say we're Harvey Weinstein, but hey, it doesn't matter when it's a man something happens to, right? Continuing. So I personally wish they stuck with the original because I thought it was quite good. Now, when you combine that part of the statement with what he had to say before about a director's cut, or basically James Wan going in because Warner Brothers wants him to revamp that, you're hearing Jason Momoa thinks this thing's going to fail. Warner Brothers thinks this thing's going to fail. Oh, everybody did. And he's saying, well, I don't think they should have done that. But now they also had this spicy little nugget here. And I think that it is so telling when you take everything in context. They tell you that the actor, he also referred to the original. And when he says the original, he's not talking about the original movie. No, he's talking about a first version of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. You know, the one that they said doesn't exist? Warner Brothers went out and said that. You had other people go out and say it, like James Wan. Yeah, he's saying absolutely there was a version existing. He says in that there was Amber Heard and him with much bigger roles. So there was a response behind the scenes to Amber Heard. The response was cutting down this script, making something brand new. That's James Wan. He told us that didn't happen. Well, the actor here that plays Mira's father is saying, yeah, that most certainly did. And the reason that happened, well, everyone was panicking. They saw Amber Heard in this. They knew what kind of damage that was going to do. So they decided, hey, we've got to do something. We've got to try to salvage at least part of this movie. Now, personally, I think there's a lot more that we haven't been told. And as far as Amber Heard, I really get the feeling that Jason Momoa, he's not afraid of that situation. He's afraid of her. And he knew what she was going to do. I mean, when you think about this, Jason Momoa goes out in the middle of the trial and he ends up following Johnny Depp. I mean, there is no gain as far as career-wise doing it. He does it anyway. He starts liking posts. I mean, he's pointing this stuff out publicly. You know people are going to notice it. Then later on, he ends up unfollowing her. And now we're hearing he wants to move on, just like James Wan said. He's going to move on to horror. On top of that, we get those therapy notes. And the therapy notes, they accuse Jason Momoa of some terrible stuff. They say, not a professional, wanted me fired, dressing like Johnny Depp, rings and all. Oh, he was drunk all the time and more. Yeah, I mean, when you're hearing about this stuff, it looks like people were very well aware of the damage that Heard would do to this franchise. Also, the damage it sounds like that was behind the scenes. But you let me know what you think about this. And as always, appreciate the heck out of you. You make this stuff work. Thank you. Can't say that enough. Want to help out the channel, by the way? Links are in the description. Share this everywhere, too. Welcome to 2024. It's going to get a lot crazier, I think.